Hello and welcome to the Sheff United Way. We're talking about another player, Nathan Redmond. Yes, let's talk about Nathan Redmond. Nathan Daniel Jerome Redmond, to give him his full name. He's actually only 31, not like Sheffield United to sign an up-and-coming youth prospect. He actually only turned 31 in March, so 32 next year. Now, he is a winger. When you think of Nathan Redmond, which side of the pitch do you think of him playing at? Because, of course, he can play on the left and he can also play on the right. He is right-footed, so if he's on the left, he's cutting inside. If he's going on that right with his right foot, you know he's going to be going down to, you'd imagine, in his prime, certainly, the byline. He's, wait for it, hallelujah, 5'8", a great height for a man. Delighted to see it. Now, Redmond, he began his career, as many will remember, as a really exciting youngster with Birmingham City. He's still a fan favourite. I was looking at some of the comments that Birmingham City fans have been putting on, a few articles actually written about him. They clearly still love him. His hometown club as well, I'm sure they would have wanted him to stay with Birmingham City longer, a bit like the Bellingham brothers. He was a bit of a superstar there, making 82 appearances in all competitions and scoring 9 goals. He then went up to the Premier League, and then a Premier League side. Norwich City snapped him up in 2013. 3 seasons as a Canary, 123 games, and he got 13 goals. Now, you'll hear me talk about his goal return, and he's never been prolific, but then again, he's usually been a winger. Not always. We'll also get to that. Now, he made a switch to Southampton in 2016. Just over 6 years later, he'd made 232 appearances and scored 30 times. That's where the bulk of his career has been spent. And when I actually think of Nathan Redmond, I do think of him in a Southampton shirt. So, hey, red and white. Then he signed for the Turkish Super League club 𝗣𝗍𝗲 in 2022, making 28 appearances, actually scoring 6 times. A pretty healthy return for a winger there. And then he was back in England with Burnley. It didn't work out at Burnley. Spoken to some Burnley fans. They weren't able to give me too much insight. He made just 18 appearances in 2 seasons. Now, he represented England when he was a kid at youth level, under 16. Then he got all the way up to the under 21s. And of course, you might recall in 2017, he did make an appearance for the senior England team, but wasn't able to progress and get more caps after that. And it's probably fair to say, this won't be the most shocking statement I've ever said on Sheff United Way, I don't believe he's going to get any more caps at senior level or at youth level. That'd be weird. Now, he's played on the left 174 times in his career, scoring 17 with 12 assists. Okay, 174 times on the left. On the right, he's actually played less, 143 times in his career, but scoring more, 18, 1 goal more. And assists-wise, far better. Remember, he got 12 assists on the left, 29 assists when playing on the right-hand side. So forget all that cutting inside, just a traditional out-and-out right footer on the right wing. Better. The right looking at those numbers, better for Redmond. He's also played as an attacking midfielder 38 times, 6 goals, 7 assists. He's played as a second striker 35 times, 7 goals, 6 assists. And he's actually played as a centre-forward, as a striker, 17 times, getting 2 goals and 2 assists. Now, all of that sounds great. It sounds rosy. What on earth could be the issues? Why is he even a free agent at the age of 31 with that kind of career? Well, as many of you will already be aware, it's to do with injuries. And this seems to be a recurring theme with some of the players we've been speaking about recently. Unfortunately, he's had some injuries that have just persisted. He's had a calf injury, had such a bad calf injury, it actually kept him out for over 2 months. But he had a terrible hamstring injury in the 23-24 season where he missed 310 days, missing lots and lots of football when he was with 𝗣𝗍𝗲. He had a metacarpal fracture, which kept him out. He, at Southampton, had repeating hamstring injuries, took a knock, which when you just read online, took a knock, you go, oh, okay, that's slightly annoying. 40 days, that's quite a knock. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but that was in the 2020-21 season. An ankle injury in that same season that kept him out for 2 weeks. Had an awful groin injury the season prior where he missed 108 days. Had a bad ankle injury in the 2019-2020 season. And I mean, I could go on that there are other injuries you can read about them, but you get the idea. I'm kind of going backwards there from most recent to longest to go. In his day, when Nathan wasn't picking up all these injuries, he was known for his pace. He was known for his dribbling, his ability to create chances in open play with counter-attacks, often operating on the half turn, in pockets of space, creating things sometimes out of nothing. That's why he was such a live wire. That's why he was so exciting. Of course, you draw fouls that way, and maybe that's why he's picked up so many injuries. But while considered an effective player in his prime, particularly with his creative output, his career has also been marked by periods of inconsistency, and you do get that with wingers. In some of the roles he's played, he just hasn't been a consistent goal threat, and he's had those injuries. But let's talk about the best of Nathan and kind of hoping that we get back to that. The key attributes allowing him to take on opponents, excel in that direct running, really good with teams that counter-attack. Creative and chance creation areas, well, he often ranks amongst the league's top players for key passes, for assists, for overall chance creation, especially when operating in a creative role. He can play on the wing, but I've also mentioned he can play through the middle. So that's something that maybe to consider, but I do feel like he would be more useful and more utilised, certainly in the way that 𝗬𝗿𝗲𝗍𝗍 likes to play with those three in either side there. I think Barry's probably cemented that left side, but certainly Redmond as a kind of impact sub-solution would be nice to have a bit more depth in that position, but he might be on the right. Inconsistency, I've mentioned that his impact, his roles have varied, but sometimes leading to him being better from the bench, which is where I was suggesting that just then. But his goal threat, it has to improve. I think it's unlikely to improve with advanced years, but it's been something that's been said even early on in his career. His rate of scoring, inconsistent. He does like to get a few shots off, but rate of scoring, not quite there. Back in the Norwich days, if you go back and read scouting reports from back in the day, 2013, he was just described as potential. High impact player with huge potential, but they were even back then questions about his ability to secure a regular role in the team and to score. At Southampton in 2019, the scouting report that I found from there said his tactical positioning as an inverted winger was highlighted, providing stability while emphasising quick, disruptive counter-attacks that exploited space. I don't know what most of that means, but it was someone else's work, and I thought I would share it. But he did get better in the 2021 season with Southampton. That's when I found the best reports of him, the improved creativity, the improved goal threat. He actually had increased shot rates and significant increase in his key passes. So Southampton fans have told me that was 2021 his best time. But Burnley, it wasn't great, as I've already mentioned there. Released by the club after promotion to the Premier League, joining other players who were also let go. Never really kicked on whilst there. But dribbling, work rate, agility, technique, and determination, those are the things I kept coming back to when I've spoken to fans about the best of Redmond, the sort of prime Redmond qualities. Let's hope he can rediscover those. But his last real meaningful season would probably have been with 𝗣𝗍𝗲𝗍 back in 2022-23, where even then he only played 1,580 minutes. But I went on FOTMob, had a little look at his stats to try and get a picture of where we might be with a hopefully fully fit Redmond. He got 5 goals, expected XG, this is just in the league, 5 goals, expected XG of 3.39, XG on target 6.13, non-penalty XG 3.39. He had 47 shots in that season. 18 of those were on target. He had 5 assists. He had 463 successful passes, a pretty good passing accuracy of 76%. Accurate long balls, 36. That was a long ball accuracy, 48%. He created 38 chances. His successful crosses, well, they were fewer and far between, and maybe that's surprising for a winger. 27 successful crosses, a crossing accuracy of just 37%. 38 successful dribbles, a dribble success rate of 59%, 971 touches, 62 of those in the opposition box. He was dispossessed 18 times, and he won 20 fouls. Now, you might think, okay, great, those numbers don't really mean much to me. Well, I'll try and compare him with someone where it will. 𝗍𝗻𝗄𝗃𝗍, who played a similar amount of minutes last season, played 1,731 minutes for United last season. That is more, but it's not too far off. And seemed to me to be the best comparison player to look at with these stats. So 𝗍𝗻𝗄𝗃 had 7 goals, expected goals of 6, XG on target 7, non-penalty XG 6.07. He had 46 shots, Redmond 47. Shots on target for 𝗍𝗻𝗄𝗃𝗍, 17. Remember, it was 18 for Redmond. very, very similar. 2 assists for 𝗏𝗏, expected assists slightly higher, 3.48. Successful passes, 348 Jez had. Well, it was 463 with Redmond. And that is something that the scouting reports did tell me. Redmond, with those key passes and successful passes, high numbers. But a passing accuracy was slightly higher with Jez and 𝗏𝗏, 81%. But they were pretty much level there. Chances created, 29 for Jez. Redmond had 38. I know it's a different league, but I'm trying. I'm trying to do my best with comparisons here. Crossing accuracy, Jezrun's was 29%. I said Redmond's was quite low, but 37% suddenly looks much, much better. In possession stats, successful dribbles, 47 for Jez, 38 for Redmond. That dribble success rate pretty much level for both of them, 55 for Jez, 59% for Redmond. Jez and 𝗏𝗏 had 842 touches, 149 of those in the opposition box. He was dispossessed 37 times and 123 fouls. Very, very similar numbers. So thought that kind of made sense. What do you think? Would be really interested in your thoughts. The sun is about to destroy everything I can see there, so I'll leave it there. But I would like your thoughts, as always, in the comments. Up the blades.